All right. I think we're there.
Are we here?
I think we're
Are we here? All right.
Little technical difficulties. How about that music, OJ?
All right. Hey. Back to the música.
Back to the música. While you guys are doing that, just want to welcome you guys over to the ABQB2B, the network live stream. This is the show by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs, giving you nuggets to help you succeed in your entrepreneurial endeavors. Today is Tuesday, June 4th, 2019.
Man.
Yes.
We're almost halfway through the year.
You know what? This is month 6, the beginning of month
almost
6.
halfway through the year.
Yes. Little Oso Motley.
Little Ozo
I
Motley.
like that.
Oh, yeah. Get us started for the day.
Tim, we got to figure out how we get live audio into what we're doing here, right?
Well, we have another channel. There's a spare channel there.
Is there a spare channel there?
You just got to bring it in. Yeah.
Well, we might have to do that. We might have to just go to that spare channel, bring the audio in. We can play some music live while we're there, right? For those of you guys who do not know, we are broadcasting from the Kangen Water Store Team Alkaline live stream studios in beautiful Albuquerque, New Mexico. My name is Luis Hernandez. We've got Mr.
Tim Baca.
and
Orlando J. Marquez.
we do have a special guest here today. She happens to be peeking around the corner.
Yeah, we got a very special guest.
You know, she's back and forth. She just graduated pre-K this past Saturday.
That's a big moment. It's a milestone.
Big moment, milestone.
When you graduate pre-K, you're off to the right track.
Cap and gown and everything.
Cap and
the whole
gown,
deal. Yep.
You know,
That's the way to do it.
They had a ceremony. She walked the line.
I walked the line.
She walked the line. Yes. Good times.
Good times.
Good times. Had a little barbecue afterwards. Good
burgers
times.
and dogs.
For those of you guys who don't know, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Aria Marie Hernandez.
Aria Marie Hernandez. Come on down.
She's still hiding around the corner, and that's quite... Oh,
There she
there
is.
she is.
Look, there she is.
All right.
Aria is joining the podcast.
Say hi to everybody right here.
No.
Oh,
What?
okay.
Okay.
All right. Here, just wave to them. Hey, that is how we are working. Sorry we're a little bit late. Again, technical difficulties. We're still learning how to use the platform, and it's been great. We've got a hodgepodge of different platforms. We've got, Restream.io. We're using Switcher Studios, and we're working off of 2 different accounts. Tim has an account on Switcher Studios that is the pro version that would enable us to actually have somebody join us remotely from wherever they are. Restream allows us to promote and broadcast this show on multiple platforms. And Dodge Durango helps us to get from our house
It's a Dodge Durango.
to here at the studio, though. But here we are. This is the second show since the resurgence.
Yes.
Of ABQB2B, the live show, right? At the last show, we talked about some pretty amazing things, and we had an amazing entrepreneur that we were able to visit with.
That was an incredible surprise to have somebody of that caliber to come in and just drop bombs on the real deal of being an entrepreneur. And
Right.
Incredible.
Absolutely, and so
Brendan.
yeah,
Brendan.
I mean, this is somebody that you know quite well, and somebody that you've had an opportunity to work with.
I
over the years.
respect this kid because, he's young. I want to say Brendan's, 25
Yeah,
maybe?
that's what he says. He's about 25,
About 25
26.
years old.
Yeah.
But, he's from San Clemente, California. He's a top earner in the Kangen water industry. But he is an old, serial entrepreneur. But he's just at that age where, like, technology, he's leveraging technology like
Right.
crazy.
Right.
And he doesn't care. Like, he's just putting it out there, and he's building this thing online. And now he's into the Amazon drop shipping stores.
Right.
But that's just part of it. This kid is what I consider a true entrepreneur in this day and age.
In this day and age, right? And that's so important because, right, that's exactly what this show is about. It's, by entrepreneurs, for entrepreneurs, and our hopes are is to give people those nuggets. And man, he dropped some bombs.
Yeah, he did.
He dropped some bombs, some what I like to refer to as check up from the neck up, right?
Absolutely, and we all need that, But even some of our listeners are they're younger, asking questions,
Right.
About do you ever get judged for being young? He's like, heck yeah, I do. But you know what? I just prove what I know, what the other people don't. Use what you know. You know technology better than anybody that's looking down at you for being older.
Right.
So use what you know. I mean, use what you have over that you're an expert in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We got to get it out. Got to get it out. Right. And, that's as I was preparing the notes for today's show, I had a realization that, the three of us sitting here at the table, we've got years and years and years of experience, and we've got some fantastic stories of those experiences. But really, this is a position to help out that young person that wants to become an entrepreneur, wants to get into business for themselves.
Or even a person late in life that just decided, what, I'm tired of working for somebody else. I want to start my own business.
There are those people out there.
They're out there. They're out there.
Oh yeah.
How many times has that crossed your mind, Tim?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm always, I love opportunities and with technology, just like you brought up Restream.
Right.
You're broadcasting to more than one, social media platform. That stuff is powerful.
Right.
I mean, it's like, think about it. We don't have to pay for airtime anymore. We
Right.
don't. We don't.
That's true.
Okay,
That
so
is very,
let's,
very true.
let's rewind to 10 years ago. Let's rewind 10 years ago, and we were trying to do this. What would it look like?
Oh, it wouldn't happen. It
would
wouldn't have
to go,
happened.
You'd have
Right.
to go to a station or something.
Yeah,
and try
you
to
would have
work
to-
something out.
Exactly.
Or
I mean, I was.
Public television.
I had a TV show on Fox. It was called Wild New Mexico. That
Oh,
was a
that's
show
right.
I had.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we would pay for airtime every week.
Right.
And, you would reach, we were reaching the masses in
Sure.
New Mexico, but still, nowadays, if you were on LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube and all these other platforms, you're reaching masses of people. Plus, if everybody just shares that, you
Right.
ask a group of people to share it, then you're in the thousands. Honestly, it's crazy.
Why don't we give that a shot? Why don't we ask some folks to share that? And you're absolutely right. 10 years ago, we'd been paying
right.
multiple channels to broadcast this, right, on the airwaves.
Oh, yeah.
We would have had to pay a crew to get out and record and edit the material, right? Or, we could have gone live,
Sure.
right, back in the day, but much different time, right? So if you are out there watching, go ahead and hit start watch party. And start a watch party and
Yeah.
let us know what your thoughts are. And the reason we want you to do that is because we are going to open this up to a live Q&A as soon as we get some of our points across here. But we certainly want to hear from everybody. We want to hear your questions. We want to be able to answer them. We want to talk about all the wonderful things. But first, we're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, who happens to be sitting right here in the house, right? So there's a
We'd like to
tagline,
thank
right?
our one sponsor.
Our one sponsor.
Hey, we're open to other opportunities, people.
That's
Hey,
right.
we need
that's
a
right.
food caterer.
Yeah,
right?
We need a food sponsor out there.
Yes.
Anybody want to send us tacos?
Chick-fil-A.
Taco Tuesday. Taco
Yeah,
Tuesday.
Taco
we need,
Tuesday.
We need a Taco Tuesday sponsor.
That's
Taco
what we need.
Tuesday sponsor. Okay,
We need a taco about it.
How about any food trucks out there that serve tacos that want to come out and be the food
Yes,
sponsor for
exactly.
the ABQB2B, the network?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
We can, man, I love that, right?
be
But let's talk.
beautiful.
So since we don't have tacos, what
We don't have tacos.
What do we have here where we're sitting today?
We have a plethora of water.
And you know what's sad is I didn't prepare any.
We have
So-
a plethora of water.
But we don't. Here-
I need to be on it. I don't even
here,
have water.
here in the studio, we don't.
We don't have any.
But we can get it.
But we can get it.
Arm stretch away.
It's
Well, a little
maybe
bit
more
more
than a
than
couple.
that,
Yeah. Maybe we can work on that. But it is Kangen water, alkaline water. Change your water.
Change your life.
Change your life with the Chief Hydration Officer, Mr. Tim Baca.
Hey, man. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful day. And I'll tell you, if you would have told me that we would have had this store a year ago and the people that were coming in here, it's just unbelievable. I knew that there was an interest with this store, but the demand that we have here now is
Right.
unbelievable. And I can't wait to start expanding that
Wow.
across the state and around the country, honestly.
Yeah.
Because we have something special here. And, people love the product. I mean, everybody that I've ever talked to that has been on this water consistently can all tell me the same thing, man. This morning I was with, do you guys know Mark Tobiasen?
Yeah.
So Mark owns Action Coach.
Right.
And I think he was a little skeptical at first, but his wife, Nicole, really wanted a machine, so we installed a machine in her house, and they have it in their office. They give it to their clients, their coaches, and it was funny. Mark came up to me today, and he goes, "Man," he goes, "we were on vacation in Florida. Man, we missed our water. We couldn't wait to get back." And seriously, because he's like, "I'm addicted to this water. I'm actually, what did he call it? He said, he says, I crave it."
Right.
And that's what I hear from those people that really didn't understand it at first. And that's what it does to you.
They crave it.
They crave it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
No joke. So this little one right here, right, in the morning she wakes up, she says, "Daddy, get me some of the good water." What kind of water is that, baby? What kind of water do we have at home? Oh, I'll tell him. That's right. We've got the 9.5
Yeah.
Nice.
at home, right? And how do people achieve that, right? So you're talking about Mark and him missing the water when he was on
Yeah.
vacation, but a lot of folks don't realize that you can have this water in your very own home.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. In fact, our store here, I wanted to make it available to people that weren't in the position to buy one, or that the timing wasn't right. But I do believe everybody should own one, and that's what we do. We install these every day in a home, in a business, because it is very healthy. And what it comes down to is when we test all the waters out there, almost all of them are acidic,
Right.
which is not good for you.
Right.
They're oxidizing you. They're the aging process type thing, and we have an amazing high in alkalinity, and it's better than sometimes people see it in stores and they'll go, "Well, I saw it in a bottle in a store." It's like
Right.
that's not even the same thing. That's basically, we call it baking soda water. That's what it is. So I said, I tell people, I'm like, you have a high alkalinity water with tons of, loaded with antioxidants. So it's a healthy product, and people come in and I tell them, you got to drink it fresh. And once they start drinking the water and they start feeling better, it makes them feel amazing. They end up wanting a machine anyway. So this is a great marketing tool for me. The store is a marketing tool. And then having this live stream here for us to use makes it even better. So great time here every day. Great vibes, great people. And
Well, one of the things that I enjoyed about your store, Tim, as I've gotten to know you and coming to the store more often, is just you've created just kind of like a social gathering place, right? Like almost like a Starbucks kind of atmosphere, right? But it's based around water. It's based about health. It's based about taking care of yourself and getting educated.
Educated.
Edumacated. So it's a very non-pressure environment. You just invite people in, people kind of network here, and
Right.
obviously, look, we're right here doing a podcast. But what's awesome is that, Tim, you had this vision for what a water store would be like. It's almost like going to an Apple store except for water.
yeah, no, it's fun. It's a fun place. We get to meet a lot of great people here. I don't think when I explain to people, hey, you need to come and visit us, they don't realize until they get here that, wow, there's people hanging out here. There's people on their laptops. There's always like small demos going on where people are educating people on the water. But it's a social environment, which is awesome.
Right.
And I look forward to coming in every day.
See, that's fun.
It is fun, and it's very contagious, right? And one of the things that we talk about for entrepreneurs is being able to surround yourself with, with positive people, and that's exactly what happens here at the Kangen Water Store on a daily basis. I know that every time that I've been here in the store, I leave feeling energized, and it's not just because of the alkaline water. It's because of the company that I get to keep while I'm here.
Right.
And just having those energizing conversations. I mean, this is the what I like to refer to as the entrepreneurial idea factory, because at any given moment you can walk through the doors here, and you can jump into a conversation of a couple of people, and they're talking about how they're going to make either their existing business better,
Yeah.
or they're talking about a new idea that they have.
Yes.
And that happens all the time here.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
It does. All the time. And so, absolutely.
Well, I mean, let's take last week for example. I mean, who would have thought that we would have had the guest that we
Brendan.
had. Brendan would have been
Well,
here.
Brendan.
and then open up opportunities like wow, okay.
Right.
I wasn't expecting
Well,
meeting the guy.
And you got to hear from these young guys, like Brendan, for example. I remember when he started talking about his stores, like he does these drop shipping stores where he has people in Bangladesh, like in offices that actually list and sell and everything for you. So then we had a friend of mine in like a few days after that. He's like, man, you could do that yourself.
Right.
You can. I said, I know you can, but you
know
don't
you can.
have 25 hours a day, 20
Yeah,
hours a day
exactly.
to
The whole
do this.
point of this is like, to
automate.
to automate and
Right.
create a different stream of income for yourself and your family. It's
And
like,
we were
yeah.
kind of joking about it because I'm going, that's just the new way of thinking. It's like,
Right.
if you're going to keep thinking the old way, then you're working. You have a job. You're basically, you have a job.
Right.
Whereas Brendan's out promoting his business. He's selling stores.
Right.
And he has people in the background that do all the heavy lifting. And that's what an entrepreneur should be like in this day and age.
In this day,
this
and,
day and
age. Absolutely. You know what? You've spoken like a true champ. You got to take advantage of the new technologies that are
Yeah.
out there and available for you. And if there is not a technology that exists, go out and create one.
Go on and create.
Yeah.
And maybe it doesn't even have to be a technology. It could be as
Right.
simple as getting people aligned that can do the work, the day-to-day work that needs
Sure.
to get done
Right.
right. All part of a successful business. And the big idea today, just leading us right down the path. The big idea today is this, right? We've all heard it before. It's been around forever. But it's the idea that proper planning is fundamental to success, right? And we follow that up with a quote from good old Benjamin Franklin, right? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
I love that one.
That's
Right.
That's true.
And that's how's the best way to say that? That's a step that a lot of people, especially entrepreneurs, tend to overlook, right? I know I've been there before. We get excited about our business. We have a specific thing in mind that we're passionate about, and we have a lot of knowledge about it, and we just take off. And we run and we say, we're going to start this business, but we never plan the business out. We never really look at the structure of the business. We never really look at, getting a business plan together,
Right.
and our marching orders, if you will, right?
Write it
And so-
down. Writing it down.
Write it down. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. Is we're going to talk about the key elements, 3 key elements of a business plan. But before we do that, just want to ask you guys a quick question, right? And just entrepreneurs in mind, right? Book of the day. What are some books that entrepreneurs should be reading?
I would say Who Moved My Cheese?
Who Moved My Cheese?
Fantastic book.
Yes.
Short, simple, but powerful message behind that.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Especially if you've had transition or change in your life.
Right. Well, it's only through change that we grow, and oftentimes, we have these thoughts, that kind of shackle us at times. Like, well, no, this is the way it's always been done. This has worked before. But no, you got to overcome that and be willing to put yourself out there on a limb. Maybe not have an idea of like how you're going to make it work. All you know is you got faith in yourself,
Right.
and you know that you're going to make it work. You have no other choice. You have to make it work.
Absolutely. How about you?
My favorite book of all time, I mean, this goes back, when I first read it was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That was my favorite book.
Wow.
And then I had the opportunity to actually go
Kiyosaki.
meet Robert Kiyosaki,
Kiyosaki.
in Paradise Valley, Arizona. It was funny story. So love the book. When he launched his website, I was one of the first persons to sign up for his website. It was richdadpoordad.com, and I got on like it was $10 a month or something. And then I get this call from his office going, hey, they're having the 7th anniversary of Rich Dad Poor Dad. We're going to invite the first 100 people that signed up for the website. So we actually went. It was actually not his house. It was Sharon Lecter's, which was his partner.
Oh, wow.
And it was awesome. So we get to go out and, party with these guys. It was great.
Wow.
But ever to
that's
this
pretty
day,
cool.
one of my favorite books. Darren Hardy, The Compound Effect is amazing. If you've never had the opportunity to read The E-Myth, you got to read The E-Myth.
Right.
Because there's a lot of people that think they're going to get into business, and they have no business in business.
Right.
Ah.
And
What's
that's the
interesting?
book.
It's interesting you brought that up. My brother recommended that book as well. My brother Carlos.
Really?
Yeah, it's so
The-
funny. He
the
mentioned that
E-Myth.
book as well.
Does anybody have a pen? Oh, wait, we're talking about technology and all that good stuff, right?
Put it in your
Take out your
notes.
smartphone.
Yeah, put it on your notes or download the audiobook.
Somebody put in the notes, and here's why, because I like to go back after the fact, and I like to get some links to some of these books and get them
Yeah.
up, in the notes for the show here, so that folks can reach out to them. All great books, and I'll just like Brendan said last week, I don't read because I don't know how. That's not the truth. Sometimes we don't read because we simply don't have the time. And we're better off by listening to an audio version of that, right?
Right.
But one of the books that I recently actually read and listened to at the same time was this book right here called The 5 Gears. There we go. Can you guys see that there? 5 Gears, and OJ can attest to this. I'm a Patrick Lencioni fan, right? That guy's he's the president of the Table Group. He writes the book, The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, The Advantage. We went through this training and all that good stuff there. But 5 Gears will profoundly change the way you see yourself and your interaction with others in every area of your life, right? That's what this book does, right? And it's because of this book that I kind of got hip to some things, and I said, "Gosh, you know what? I'm gonna do me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do me, and I'm no longer gonna run in everybody's circles of what they want." And I took a stand, and it's because of this book. And so I'll tell you what: how to be present and productive when there is never enough time. Right here, this lets you help you understand what priorities are for you in your life and your family and all that good stuff. And so, yeah, absolutely. When it comes to entrepreneurs, we all want to be entrepreneurs because we don't have enough time.
Right.
Right. We go work for somebody else, and we're stuck. Right. We're stuck working on somebody else's dream, building somebody else's empire, and we're trading our time for dollars. Right. And most of the time, it's not a whole bunch of dollars.
Yeah.
That's
true.
Just a few dollars. And so
That's
so
true.
so we all want to be entrepreneurs. We want to take our time to do our own thing and create our own wealth, right?
Right.
And so yeah, absolutely. Really good book. I encourage you to get it. Did you bring us some snacks?
No.
I got to tell you, we were preparing this morning. She says, "Daddy, I got a pack of snacks because as soon as we're done doing the show, we're going to the park."
There you go. Hey, you
Nice.
got a full day.
But I think she's going to eat up all the snacks before we even make it to the park there.
Oh,
So
man.
we may have to.
Yeah. Hey.
We're in serious need of that food truck, right?
I'd like to
Yeah,
send a
we
shout
do.
out to Miguel Rojas, who has chimed in. Good morning, Miguel. Do you got any book recommendations? What book are you reading now?
May take him a while to answer there. We can say the same for podcasts, right? So podcasts, I don't know about you guys, but I listen to podcasts on a daily. Gary Vee is always, one of the top podcasts that I listen to. But, there's a ton of just a wealth of information out there.
No, there's so much free information. Get on YouTube. That's what I listen. I'm on YouTube all day.
Right.
Because I'm looking for stuff,
Absolutely.
and I listen to YouTube videos more than I listen to music.
Right.
That I don't do.
Well, that's because he's a musician. That's why.
Yeah,
Right?
it's a little bit different.
But there's a lot of great ones out there. There's one that's called Entrepreneurs on Fire, and a lot of really good information. There's another one called social media marketing, and what these do is they deliver some of the newest technologies that are out there that are available for entrepreneurs and marketers to use. I go to it quite often, and in fact, I've found and implemented several different programs. Restream is one of them, based off of some of those podcasts that I've listened to. But yeah, good stuff. You, OJ, you listen to podcasts?
I do once in a while, not nearly as much as I do. Alicia's recommended a lot of really cool podcasts.
I'm sorry, who?
Alicia,
And that would be.
my lovely girlfriend.
Nice.
Hey, man, I had to ask, right?
Like you don't know.
And-
But no,
she's an entrepreneur
She's
as
an
well,
entrepreneur,
right?
small business owner, and
Okay.
you know what? And she always sends like some really cool videos that she finds, right? And she's always listening to different audiobooks and stuff like that. But it's just educating yourself and being open to different different perspectives.
Right.
What made different people successful and why?
Absolutely. Well, let's run down through that. Let's go through these key elements of a business plan. There are three key elements, right? And so think of this way, right? Is that you're putting together a summary of what your business should be or what you expect it to be, right? And if you remember last week, we had the conversation. We talked about some very important things. We talked about the three things to get right when you're starting a business. And that first thing that we talked about was to make sure that there are potential customers for what you're selling, right?
Yeah.
First things first. Are there people that are going to buy your product?
Is there people out there that are going to buy what I'm selling, right? Or my product or my
Yes.
service, right? Is there people that are going to buy water?
Yes. Well,
right?
we test marketed this one. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was funny because, I was doing this before when I started selling machines, like I did it part-time, but people would come to my house to get the water.
Right.
And then it got to be ridiculous. And finally, like my wife's like, you can't have all these people here. And then I was like, okay, where do I go next? Because I got to, showcase it somewhere. So then I moved it into her preschool, which is the kids academy. And people would come to the back door and, that got ridiculous. So I
Right.
knew, and I even tested the whole membership model there.
Yeah.
But we did some test marketing.
Right.
And then I would ask people, hey, if I opened a store, would you support it?
Right.
So there's a lot of due diligence that
Right.
you want to do.
And you know what? And he followed all three of those, right? Make sure that there's potential customers for what you're selling. Make sure that you got a plan on how you're going to get your products or services to those customers, right? And number three is start small and grow from there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you got to innovate after that. So like right now, we started the membership model, and then little by little we tweak things.
Right.
We now set up people on auto renewal. So people are, it's kind of like the gym membership model. The other thing we do is we start innovating with putting new products in place. So for instance, the water bags.
Right.
Nobody had ever seen that water bag, but I thought that's a cool marketing tool because everybody's going to say, what is that thing?
It's an attention getter.
What is
Yeah,
that
it's an
market?
attention
And
getter.
I'll have to grab one in a second. But it's that water bag, and it's
Right.
like, so then you start to bring in new products, and people go, how can you make it on water? But you add new products. Like now we're doing merchandise next.
Right.
Wow.
So the T-shirts, the caps, it's ball branding.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people will buy them.
Absolutely.
Because every time I wear something, they're like, hey, can I get one?
Can I get one
So
of those?
they want that stuff.
Right.
And almost everything we put on these shelves, they're buying.
You know what? That's a funny thing you bring that up because that happened to me. I got myself an Orlando J. Marquez, the
There you go.
Versace Mariachi
There you go.
T-shirt, and it's got a picture of OJ on it. And I was
Oh,
wearing
boy.
it the other day, and I can't tell you how many people stopped me and said, "Hey, can I get one of those shirts?" Okay,
Autograph.
that didn't happen.
I'm like, no, you can't, because yeah, that's
But no, I mean, so we're there, right? And those are some steps that we've got to take
Yeah.
to make sure that we're going in the right direction, and that's right in line with what these three key elements of a business plan are. Is right. First, you identify your customers. You kind of come up with some sort of a plan on how you're going to deliver your products and services to them, and then you start small. And starting small, I believe, is with that business plan. And I'll tell you, I started Elite Music Productions without a business plan. And the only reason I started it without a business plan is because I didn't know how to write one. I didn't. And
Most people don't.
and most people don't. And what you need to know is that you don't have to be an expert at business plan writing, right? You don't. But it's going to serve you well if you can sit down and put some things on paper.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to serve you very, very well, right? See, I did a lot of pivoting in my early years of my business because I did not have a business plan, and I didn't realize what I didn't realize. Didn't know what I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Right.
Right. And so I kept on transitioning into something different, into something new, because I didn't have a plan in place. I had a passion in place. I knew inside and out what I was doing, but I didn't have a plan.
right.
Right.
Well, just like we mentioned, fail to plan, plan to fail. And most people that own a business that don't start doing all these things and write it down, and they do fail.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's just take a quick look at those three. The first one is the management team, right? And if you are an
Crucial.
entrepreneur, a solopreneur, if you're at this
Crucial.
by yourself, then it's you,
It's all you.
right? But maybe you have partners.
You know what? And I'll be honest, I got lucky because when I started to, when I launched the store, I picked some partners.
Yep.
John Behrman's one of them. He's standing right behind me somewhere. But John owns dry cleaners, and he wanted to be a partner. But he likes the retail. He's a retail guy,
Right.
Right. He's used to. I never ran a cash register in my life. I didn't. I was in business, but I never ran retail.
Right.
Dennis, my other partner, he sold his business, which was a lawn company.
Right.
He had it for 25 years, but his wife, is very good with numbers and books. So I got lucky because I have the financial side, I have the retail
Right.
experience. We jumped in with the water experience, and it just it all worked together. So now we're going to kind of build our business plan backwards. We're actually putting it all on paper now, going, wow, look at all the things we accomplished, but
Right.
look at all the things we can do to go to the next level with this.
Yeah, and let me make that point as well. Just because you're not starting or launching your business today doesn't mean that you can't go back and write out a business plan. Say you've been in business, let's say, you've been in business like Alicia for, 5-6 years now on her own?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it's time for her to go back and write a business plan now,
Right.
and structure herself
Sure.
for her future, right? Absolutely. I've got to do one for Elite Music Productions, right? Because I never really did.
Right.
Have things changed up quite a bit? Absolutely. Can they change again in the future?
Absolutely.
Am I leaving dollars on the table because I haven't laid out a plan?
Maybe.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
A ton of money, right? But yeah, absolutely. So when you're writing your business plan, you got to kind of dissect, your previous experience, right? Your experience, my experience, OJ, your experience, right? Think of it as if you were a banker, right? And I'm coming to you, or you're taking this business plan to get a loan from the bank, right? What do you want to know about your experience, right? And in doing this exercise, you're going to really open up the doors and identify your strong points, and you're also going to identify your weaknesses, and you're going to know where you need to reach out for help. And that's important to know, right? And I'll just say in my most previous place of employment, something that needed to be practiced probably, right, is maybe a revisit to a business plan to identify who the key stakeholders were, and what their area of expertise was, and what they were not good at.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because, we did kind of go through something similar to that with Jerry Lujan and Dr. Gary Sanchez when
Right.
we discovered our why.
Right. Exactly.
So for those of you who've never done that, do you know
Yeah.
Gary Sanchez? And have you done that?
I've heard of him.
So I figured out my why, and it was pretty crazy, but it's a breakdown of all these different things and metrics that help you identify what your why is. It's incredible. But we did it as a team.
right.
And it was incredibly informative, but the problem is we didn't implement anything that we learned.
We didn't implement anything that we
No.
learned. And here's the thing, right? As an entrepreneur, you've got to be able to do that. You have
Yeah.
to be able to understand, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong.
Right.
You got to understand if you are a good fit for the business, or if there are some things that you need to hand off to some other people, right?
Sure.
Right.
I'll be the first to tell you, hey, I'm not the best at doing the books.
Yeah.
I need to find somebody who is.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
You do.
Right? I've got to find somebody who is. I may not be the best at marketing the business. I need to find somebody who is, right? And if I'm going at this all on my own, I need to be able to put that into my business plan as an expense, right? Which kind of brings us to the next point.
Yeah.
Is the financials, right?
Right.
The financials, and those can kind of be broken down into 4 little areas there. But it's interesting to note that most of the reasons that businesses fail are due to bad financial management,
Wow.
Yeah.
right?
More.
Yeah.
A lot of businesses, they just can't sustain. They don't have a good structure on finances.
Right.
At all.
At all.
Oh, and especially when you're an entrepreneur and you don't keep things separated, right? You've got your personal finances, and then you've got your business finances, and those two should never really intermingle, right?
Yeah, they shouldn't commingle accounts. You should have a business account and
Right.
a personal account. Like you're right. Like I always look for people that are better at me than things that I don't want to do. I don't like paperwork.
Right.
I want that freedom. I don't like it. So I'm fortunate that Linda, Dennis's wife, she does all our stuff.
Yeah.
And then I have a bookkeeper that I introduced her to. So they meet once a couple weeks.
Right.
And they do that. So I don't have to worry about that.
Right.
I can focus on the everyday here, and that's what I like to do.
Right.
But you have to leverage other people's expertise. You just have to.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because I think it keeps a lot of people from growing a business because
Mm-hmm.
then they just own a job. And if they're sick, the business doesn't run.
Absolutely.
Well, you know,
And-
Henry Ford, you know, was a pioneer when it came to that, you know, because he believed wholeheartedly in hiring people that are more intelligent than him
Yeah.
Right.
to help him build his business. I
To help
mean,
him build a
Some
business.
people's egos don't let that happen, though,
Right.
because they're like, no, I'm not going to have that person do that.
I'm guilty of that. If you know me, you know I have a super huge ego, and I have to
Right.
be in full control of. Okay, yeah, I'm kidding. But no, absolutely right, and those are really important things to know, right? And so this one right here for me hits home. You know, the financials. You know, the biz plan should have kind of your what do we call them? Your best and your worst case scenarios, right? Of when you're in business, you know, and really what you need to look at in those key areas there is number one is your operating budget, right? So I'm sure that when you guys looked at a plan to open up the store, you figured that it was going to take you some dollars to keep
Oh,
the
yeah.
doors open every day, right?
Yes.
And so just really quickly, just off the top of your head, what are some of those things?
Well, I mean, you know, when I first looked at this project, you know, it was like, okay, there's 4 investors, you know, basically there's 4 of us. You know, our thought was, you know, you got to come up with X amount of money
Right.
because we got to get the place going.
Sure.
Don't expect a salary. And
Yeah.
also, you know, you're all going to have to contribute something, whether it's bringing people in here or whether it's doing the books or putting time into the store.
Right.
But we all have to contribute something. And I've been grateful that we've all worked together. The other thing is that, you know, right now we know I didn't want to payroll, so that was a big plus for me.
Sure.
And everybody else is, you know, they can come in and volunteer themselves. But part of our business plan is we sell machines too.
Sure.
Right.
And those are individual sales. So that gives us an opportunity to actually meet new people
Right.
and build relationships. And so we're basically 2 different businesses here.
Yeah.
I'm my own business owner with my machine business, and then the store is another stream of income.
Another retail outlet. Yep.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But it was well thought out, and it's actually worked out perfect that way. So it just takes a lot of, I mean, there's not a lot to this one
right.
because we don't have the payroll and the liability of that
Sure.
and the workman's comp and all this stuff. It works.
It works.
And
Right.
a lot of people don't have that. Whereas like my wife's business, you know, childcare, you have
oh, wow.
a ton of things.
Wow. Liability on that.
Liability
Oh, my
with
goodness.
kids and
Yep.
the payroll and the AFLAC and you know what
Background
I'm saying?
checks
It's a
and, yeah.
lot of stuff. There's a lot more moving parts there.
Absolutely.
And so like when I compare the 2,
Mm-hmm.
I love this one because I don't have as much liability.
right.
And it goes back to like Brendan Teeger. He doesn't want to be tied down to something.
Yeah.
He wants to leverage other people's time, and he wants to run his business off his phone.
Absolutely.
And that's the beauty of where this
yeah.
world is going.
You can certainly do that, right? You can certainly do that. I believe that is really dependent on the type of business that you have, right? But let's take this for instance in the retail location, right? There are some things that you have to have, right? You have to have paid your rent. You have to have paid your light bill, and in this case, you have to have paid your water bill, right?
Exactly. And we know that.
You know, you've got to pay for the internet.
Insurances.
You've got to pay for insurances.
You
know?
got insurances and you got the internet. I mean, it's you know, we have supply costs.
supply costs.
You know, just simple things, you know,
Yes.
cups and tools that we need for the demonstrations we do. You know, it's funny because we still buy a lot of bottled water because we got to test it.
Yeah.
right?
So we still have those supply costs. We have a lot of retail items that we have to purchase before we sell them. So there is, you know, a lot going on here, even
Right.
though we don't have the payroll issue.
No, absolutely, and those are part of the calculations that you got to figure out as your operating
Marketing.
costs. You know, these are your operating costs, and you got to figure out how much money you need to be bringing in to cover those costs, right? So that's number one of your operating budget. Then you have to have your projected cash flow statement, right? And really, that's list your source of income and when it's going to arrive. For example, right? You've set this up on a membership model, right? And so you are receiving cash on a daily basis, right, based on how many memberships you have out,
Yes.
right?
Right.
And when those memberships are due and when they are going to renew. So now you can take, you've been operational for a year, you've got a solid number of members. Now you can forecast and you can say, okay, now I know exactly what to expect.
Exactly.
Income-wise, every month, or you can even break it down to every day.
You're right.
Right, and then take that and adjust your operating budget based on that. Right, now if you need to increase, you've got to increase. Right.
Yeah, you got to. Well, you spend more on advertising. Like where we're at right now, we haven't spent a dime on advertising,
Right.
which is pretty awesome.
Isn't it?
But if I spend a few dollars, then I can scale it,
Right.
and then you got to figure out what you're spending versus what your
getting.
target is to go. You know, if we want to go from X amount of members to another, I mean, you're going to spend some money, which probably would be worth it at this point.
In fact, I like to call this the three elements, right? But it's actually four, and a marketing plan is a big, huge chunk of this, right? We're not even going to get into that, and the reason we're not is because I feel like that is its own show,
Its own animal. Yeah.
all on its own.
Oh my gosh,
right?
marketing.
It's a whole different animal.
Yeah.
But so we got our projected cash flow statement, our projected profit and loss statement. Cash flow is different from profitability, right? You can be profitable but have poor cash flow. It can also have a positive cash flow and not be profitable, right? Both situations are deadly. Got to have them both together.
Right.
Yes.
Can't have one or the
Yeah.
other.
Gotta have it.
But having the business plan is going to help you to understand, where the money's coming from and how much it's really costing you to run your business, right? Because there's a cost associated with running your business. You can't just say, I'm going to be an entrepreneur and open up shop. There is a cost to doing business, right?
Right.
And if you don't have costs to doing business, then you're probably not in business.
Right.
Yes.
Right, but you really need to understand. You got to make sure that you have enough money to start and maintain the business.
Yeah.
Right, you've got to be able to maintain the business, and get it to the point where you have some positive cash flow. Right. So in this situation, you might have said, okay, let's look at what does it cost us to keep the doors open here on a monthly basis. Okay, this is what our rent is, what our light, water, gas, all the this is what we need to make, right? Okay, how many memberships do we have active right now? Okay, we need to increase our memberships,
Right.
in order to
Yeah.
be able to make it. Well, if we increase our memberships by 10% more, then we're going to have this surplus,
Exactly.
right? We're going to be above and beyond.
You know
what we
your
need to be.
break-even point, and then you know
Exactly.
your profit area, and that's kind of how you gauge it. You have to look at your profit and loss statements every month to understand it,
Right.
because then you realize, hey, if we just, increase the memberships like you said by 10% or
Right.
whatever, it's pretty much all profit at that point,
Right.
because your break-even.
Right.
And if we're not hiring anybody else, that's where it's at.
Now we're talking about going to Hawaii or heck, even LA to hang out on the beach for a little bit, right? But
That
that,
sounds good right about now.
I mean, that's all your sales projections, and I don't care what kind of business you're in.
Right.
You could be selling sewing machines, you could be fixing sewing machines, but every business has a sales component to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Bottom line.
Every business has a sales component to it, and you are either selling a product or you're selling a service.
Yep.
But you're selling.
You're
right?
selling
Yeah.
something.
And so the last part of that is your sales projections, right? And OJ, this is my big thing, right? I love
It's a numbers game.
reverse engineer things, right?
It is a numbers game.
You tell me how much money you want to earn, and I'm going to reverse engineer to tell you exactly what you need to be doing every day, down to
How many
Yes.
calls you got to make? How many people you need to talk to? I mean, you got to break it down.
You do.
everything. How many people need to come through the door for us to be profitable?
Exactly.
Right? Okay, if we're not seeing that type of traffic, what do we got to do, right? Now this gets into the marketing aspect of things, and I think we'll cover that on the very next one, right?
And most people know, like a lot of people know what they have to do, but
Right.
not very many people do it.
Right.
Right.
That's
they
a
don't.
thing. Like I broke it down numbers for people and say, hey, if you do X amount of demonstrations and
Right.
you know, this is what you can see, and a lot of people just don't do it.
Right.
It's
Well-
it's interesting. They want to do it, but they don't have that why
That's it right there.
They
There
don't
it
have
is.
the why.
There it is.
When
They don't have the urgency
Mm-hmm.
because something that everything's going. Like I even get sometimes comfortable.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
I mean, JC Lopez told me, he said, sometimes you get comfortable. I said, I do. I agreed with him. I get
Yeah.
comfortable because I get.
Well, because sometimes you get comfortable, you become complacent. Hey, everything's going good. I got what I need to pay my bills and a little bit extra for fun stuff. And sometimes you lose that tenacity, right? To just
Right.
like, oh no, I want more. It's like, oh, I need this, I want that.
Well, and I
And
firmly,
it's all relative.
I firmly believe that it's dialed back into your why, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you have a super strong why, then that drives you.
Mm-hmm.
That really, really drives you, and it's beyond what. So Simon Sinek wrote the book, The Why, right? Gary Sanchez took that idea, that concept, and he dug in a little bit deeper,
Right.
right? And so he's got a platform that helps you really identify based on a number of different things, really what your why is, right? Because I remember the first time that I had the conversation with, I've read the book, right? And I came up with a what I like to call is just a blanket statement.
Mm-hmm.
What is your why, Luis? Well, I do what I do because I have a daughter over there that I want to support and a wife that I want to support in this lifestyle. But he said, that's not your why. Those are all good reasons.
Yeah, great reasons.
Great reasons, but let's really dig in deep and identify with what your why is and why you operate the way that you operate, why you do the things that you do, and what really motivates you, and what you need to understand about yourself that will keep you going, right? I was able to learn that, right? And you're right. Sometimes we can get a little lax, we can get comfortable, but at the end of the day, if we've got a really strong why, then we're doing these things. We know.
Yeah.
We
Right.
have a purpose, right? Purpose.
Right. Absolutely.
And it's not always about money. For some people, like you think their why, they have to, do more.
Yeah.
And it's not always just the money. It's what do you want to accomplish?
Right.
You know what? I'll tell you, in reading this book, I really understood that, right? Because, I'll just call it what it is, right? We become entrepreneurs because we want to make as much money as we possibly can, right? We don't want to be contained to what somebody else says our worth is. We want to be entrepreneurs because we believe wholeheartedly in our ability to get out there and make magic happen. Now, does it happen immediately? No, it doesn't. Do we need to do some good planning, solid planning first? Probably so, right?
Right.
But this really helped put things into perspective for me because I was driven by dollars in a lot of things that I was doing, driven by dollars. And this book helped me to understand that maybe it's not the dollars that I need to really be concerned about. Maybe it's my passions. Maybe it's the things that are really important to me that I need to be more mindful of, right? And one of those things was, hey, you know what? I do want to be there.
Right.
I want to be there to take my daughter to school in the morning and to pick her up in the afternoon, because that's the type of father that I want to be, and that is what's important to me.
Right.
So how do I set myself up? How do I set up my business? How do I create that opportunity for myself? Do I go work for somebody? Probably not. Do I create my own opportunity so I can do that?
Right.
Absolutely, right? Tim Ferriss, the 4-hour work week.
Yeah.
Or the 4-day work week, or whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it, right? I mean, another great example of just really, digging in deep on the why and figuring out what is it that drives you, what is important to you, right? Is it the ability to be able to do those things, right? And you called it, right? You're here 1-2 days a week, right? Of actually working in the store.
Yeah. Thursday. I work Thursday,
Thursday.
and we alternate like on the weekends. But
Right.
I created it like somebody said. Well, you could make more if you would have just opened it yourself. I said, yeah, but I'd be here every day.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Exactly.
do that. That's not my point. I'd rather have
Exactly.
10 of these stores with 10 other partners, and
Right.
and you know what I'm saying? Like,
And it all adds up,
It all
you
adds
know?
up. I mean, I don't. I want to have fun.
Absolutely. So this all boils back down to the executive summary. It's part of the business plan should be the last part of the document. It's where you summarize the entire plan, sharing your company's strengths, and simply put, if you have trouble articulating, the purpose of your business, its strengths, challenges, the goals in the first few pages, then you might not be clear on your business vision or your marketing strategy. if you're not clear on that, then you need to take a couple of steps backwards and really get clear on those things, because when you're not clear on those things, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
Bottom line, right?
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Oh yeah.
But,
I it's funny you brought up the failed, plan to fail.
Yeah.
I mean, failed to plan. I've done it before too. Like I don't prepare enough for something and I regret it that same day.
Right.
Like it happened, several months ago where I showed up to something and I go, man, if I could have just prepared a little bit.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
there was so many opportunities, and I totally didn't take advantage of the opportunities.
And that leads us right into another quote: "Chance favors the prepared mind."
Guinness chance.
Guinness chance.
Guinness chance.
Chance who?
Who is that cat?
Oh my gosh, Hillary, Chance is coming over later. Oh, sorry. But no, a mentor of mine, Todd Hudak, that was one of his main things.
Yeah.
Chance favors the prepared mind, and it's so true. I mean, when you're prepared, you kind of line things up for your day. It sets your whole day up. You're prepared for whatever the situation is.
Well, you know what? I'll give you a perfect example, right? Let's just let's take let's say Tim, right? Tim has no plan at all. He wakes up on Tuesday morning with no plan at all, and he does what feels comfortable to him, right? He may hang out at his house. He may make some breakfast, lounge around, may pop on the TV and get caught up in a show, and it's 3 hours later, and he's looking at his watch saying, "Oh, wow. Right?" Then he says, "Well, I guess it's time to eat lunch then. Let's have some lunch," right?
Yeah.
And so he eats lunch, and then he goes and he says, "I'm going to check my email." And he starts checking his email, and then he goes down a rabbit hole, and he's on some website that he never intended of being on. And now he just spent another $300 buying something that he really didn't need because he found it online, right?
Right.
That's Tim with no plan, right? Now, Tim with a business plan that knows the numbers and knows exactly what needs to happen in his place of business so that he could be able to take the trip to Hawaii, right, has a purpose now. So he gets up that same Tuesday morning. He says, "Okay, I know what I got to get done. Here's my list of things that I've got to accomplish today to be able to take the trip to Hawaii."
Yeah.
Now I'm going to get up. I've got purpose. I've got something to work towards, and I already have my plan laid out for me of what I'm going to do. Now, when that distraction of cooking breakfast and watching that TV show come up, you're going to say, "No, stop, drop, and roll. I got stuff to do."
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the difference. And it happens. It happens to me every day, right? With my little one, right? Let's plan out our day. Why, Daddy? Well, because if we don't, then we're just going to sit around doing nothing all day long.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We're going to sit in front of the TV. We're just going to veg out.
We're going to hang out. We're not going to do anything, right? And then next thing we know, it's 6 o'clock at night, and we're like, "Gosh, we didn't do anything," right?
Right.
It's the same for business, and all these things are true. Coming up with a plan. Here's the thing: don't make it. It's not difficult. Don't make it any harder than what it needs to be. If you don't know how to write a business plan, that is okay.
Right.
There's resources out there for you.
Yeah.
There is SCORE, right? Steps ABQ. Is another resource for you. We have the SBDC, the Small
Right.
Business Development Center. We've got the SBA, right? These are all organizations that are there to help you. And guess what? They do it free of charge.
Well, and they're specifically designed to help you with resources and help you scale your business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So if I were you and you do not have a plan in place, I would reach out. You can even give me a call. I'll put phone numbers and contact information on the notes for you guys. But reach out and get something going, because this is gonna help propel your business to the next level, right? If you've been stuck for a while with your business trying to grow it, this is what's gonna help you get to the next level there. These are the things that are gonna help you scale and grow your business.
Right. Absolutely.
These mics are super hot today, aren't they?
These ones,
They are.
Yeah, you can tell.
We can actually hear. I hope you guys can hear us out there, but that's what we've got for today. I know that's quite a lot. I just have to tell you guys, in all honesty, I love being prepared, right? Look at that. Show notes.
I love
Prepared.
it. I love it.
We love being prepared, but
The notes.
sometimes it's just a lot more funner when we fly off the seat of our pants.
Well, that's why I was saying. I was like, what? You want me to read your notes? Where does this come from? We've been doing this,
We've been doing it
from
freestyle.
the hip,
Shoot from the hip.
shoot
and-
from the hip.
So,
since we
so here's
started.
what we're gonna do, right? We're gonna. I know we talked about opening this up. We're already at about an hour, so we're not gonna open it up to
Right.
Q&A, and we're gonna continually work. Just know that this is something that we're trying together,
Yeah.
right? Orlando, Tim, Luis, we're doing this. We're giving it a shot. We don't have a well-executed plan in place that we have for this particular broadcast. We just know that we want to help people,
Right.
and we have the platform to do it. So why not,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And so, so just know that this is a work in progress. Things will continually change as we go through this journey. We're glad that you're on the journey with us.
Right.
We're glad that we get to be on the journey, right? And just hang out with us. You never know what to expect, right?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. You never know.
No, exactly. Hey, man, this is awesome. I love it. And I think, nobody else is doing this kind of thing, and I love it,
Right.
really. And we have a lot of potential guests that can come on. You mentioned Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary.
I
Gary
think
Sanchez.
he needs to be
yeah.
on. I think we need to, bring those people in because there's a
Well-
lot of great entrepreneurs here.
There's so many different entrepreneurs that can offer something that has made them successful, right? And if you can take just one nugget from that person, it could make the difference in your own business. So, I mean, those of you that are interested, reach out to Luis, Tim, or myself about coming on to the broadcast. We would love to just sit down and pick your brain and ask you questions, and in essence, help that person that maybe just be considering, maybe might need that one little umph, to get them to maybe consider, building their own business. Maybe it's something that you can offer them that would give them the inspiration to do so.
That's the whole idea of this, right? Being a small business owner is tough. Being an entrepreneur might be just a little tougher, right?
Right.
Because you have to go at it all alone.
Yeah.
The good news is that, there have been several people that have come before us.
Well, that's just it, though, Luis. You don't have to go it all alone.
You don't.
There are resources for you, so you don't have to do it alone.
Are we setting up shop here? Are we?
Do we just become best friends? Do you want to go do karate in the garage?
Are we setting up a support group for entrepreneurs? Is that
Well,
what's,
we're what? At the end of the day, we're resources.
Absolutely.
We're resources, and if we can send somebody somewhere that can get the help they need, well,
Sure.
then absolutely, that's what we're about.
can we call it Tuesday night at Tim's?
Tuesday night at Tim's.
Let's go, man.
Right. So when we do,
Hey, you call it anything you want, just don't call me late for dinner.
when we have Coach's Show on Mondays, right? After Coach's Show, everybody goes to hang out at
the grill.
at Phil's,
Phil's.
right? In the cave.
In the
Caveman.
man
So
cave.
In the
maybe,
man cave.
Maybe we have a Tuesday night at Tim's.
Tuesday at Tim's.
Tuesday night at Tim's, and this is where all the entrepreneurs just get together and we just
Mastermind.
Mastermind on
Yeah.
On H2O.
Ooh,
There you go.
there we go.
They can
Right.
take home some Kangen.
Some Kangen water, right? Want to
Speaking
shout
of
out.
Kong.
Speaking of Kangen man.
I'm thirsty.
Yeah, a little
No
thirsty
kidding,
myself.
right? For those of you guys that are just tuning in, just know that we are very grateful for the opportunity to be here. We are broadcasting live from the Kangen Water Store, Team Alkaline live stream studios here in beautiful Albuquerque, New Mexico. And of course, I want to shout out Clarice Salazar, right?
Clarice.
Clarice. So when you think of Clarice, and then you hear the last name Salazar, does nothing for you,
No.
right? Okay.
No offense, Clarice. I'm just yeah, I don't know you. Just another name right
That's
now. but
okay.
Thanks for following. Thanks for listening. And if you got any nuggets you'd like to share, by all means, share them with us.
We're also going to shout out Shelly Marie, Mr. John Moore from Steps ABQ, Dodie
Hey,
Brown,
Shelley,
Mario
tuning in from-
J. Chavez.
From Phoenix, Arizona,
Yes.
Yeah.
We do have listeners over there.
over there
Over there's.
and over there.
Paya. Where's Robbie?
That's a good question. Where is Robbie?
You know, I think
You
I
know?
think he got feelings over the fact that we called him out on getting pulled over for bumping
country music.
right?
That's what you do in Boise, Idaho. I mean, don't you? I don't know.
That's funny.
You grow potatoes.
You grow potatoes and you bump
fry
country
'em up,
music. Yeah.
and you bump country music.
He really got pulled over.
Good stuff.
Yes,
Good stuff.
Anything going on this week that we need to be aware of?
I'm just thinking of the NBA Finals.
You know what? Hey,
I'm bummed. I'm bummed that the Raptors lost at home. I really am.
and,
'Cause
and the Warriors are hurt. I mean,
I know.
Klay Thompson got hurt. KD is out. I mean,
I know.
Iguodala's kind of. I mean, but that goes to show what that championship pedigree can
Exactly.
do. That
Right.
culture of winning. It's like, okay, one of our best players is out. Next player up. Next player up, and it's the same thing in a business organization. Okay, you lose a big producer, you lose somebody. You know what? Next guy up.
Right.
Everybody contributes.
Everybody contributes.
And
Love it.
yeah, tough.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. I really thought the Toronto could win.
Well, they were up, but that championship pedigree. I mean, they're 2-time, or I don't know how many championships they've won already, but 2 in a row already, for a reason.
They've been there 4 times?
They've been there all through the
No, more than that.
2010s. I think I don't know. I've already lost track.
See, and that's not an area of expertise for me. I do not follow the NBA.
My dad's a big basketball fan.
Is he
so I
really?
make sure that we watch the games together and stuff. So
Well, that's cool.
We
Yeah.
went. It was Sunday. What Sunday was game 2?
Game-
Was it Sunday? Yeah, Sunday.
yeah.
Yeah. So we all met at Bubba's.
Oh, did you?
Nice.
Coach was there.
Oh, really?
Coach B,
Nice.
Phil.
Hey, how was the
Joe.
game? Did you go to the game on Saturday?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
Nice. How's the turnout?
Gladiators. It was great turnout.
Good.
Gladiators did really well. Their new quarterback is pretty awesome.
For those of you, if you have not experienced a Duke City Gladiator game, you got to get out to Tingley, especially now, and support this organization. You know what? They've made it fun. It's exciting, and more importantly, it's affordable.
It is.
So, I mean, you could take your family out there and just have a great time and see some football, some arena football.
And it's fast. It's fast
It's
action.
a fast game.
It's a fast game. You
got
can't blink.
Players getting pulverized into the walls, and
Oh
it's,
man,
it's intense. So if you guys get a chance,
it's
go
high
check out
scoring.
A game.
I mean, I love the
Yeah.
arena football.
It's
speed
it's
of it.
pretty cool.
But you guys got to go out to support the Gladiators. They're amazing.
How many more home games do we have?
I'm not really sure.
See, I'm asking these questions because usually around this time, Gina will chime in, right? Hi. Can you say hi to your mama?
No.
Say hi to your mama.
Is Mama really here?
She's watching.
She's watching you. She's always watching you.
Got to shout out Mama, Miss Rachel Hernandez.
Rachel Hernandez.
That's right. See? Okay, so I got to tell you guys a little confession, right? Last Thursday we did the show. Orlando shouted out Rachel. Little Honey was watching the show, and she says, "Daddy, you didn't give me a shout out."
I know.
I said,
I didn't know.
"You're right. I didn't give you a shout out." She said, "But why?" And she got upset at me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She
See?
got upset at me. Yep.
Can you do? Can you
What
do?
Orlando did.
What about business networking events? We've got is tonight, First Tuesday with
Mark. So
Mark
first Tuesday, 4:30, Q Bar.
Q Bar.
Oh.
Yeah, that'd be a great one to go to.
You know what? I haven't been to that in a long time.
I have not
That's
been to
actually
that.
a really good one.
I would love to join you. I unfortunately have dance class tonight.
All right. What dance are you learning?
Aria, what dance are we learning tonight? Is it a little cha-cha-cha? No?
You're gonna go 4:30?
You know what? I might.
I'm thinking about going today.
You know what? Shoot me a text.
I will.
Yeah, I haven't been to that networking event in a long time, and you know what? Probably be good to go.
And you've met Mark, right?
I've met Mark before.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah,
Can I ask you guys a question? If I put on a red polo shirt, can I go with you guys?
absolutely.
Only if you wear the red.
It's got a more rock and red, buddy.
Hey, we ought to talk about some ABQB2B, the network merch gear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should it be a red shirt or
It's
should it
red.
be a white shirt?
It'd be-
Albuquerque, you guys
Yeah.
chime in.
All
right?
right.
Let us know what you
What
think.
should our colors be?
What should our colors be, right? You see our logo there. It's a red circle, white lettering, and a black
Landscape of,
landscape of Albuquerque.
Yeah.
The skyline.
Skyline.
I found that somewhere, and I probably ought to identify who made that so that I can give them proper credits for it. But
Yeah. We don't want to be sued or anything.
Yeah,
for, copyright
probably
infringement.
not. But this never it was never meant to be anything like this, and I'm glad to see that this is growing. This page, just so you guys know, I started the ABQB2B page November 2010.
Wow.
That long ago.
Wow.
And I'll tell you why I started it. I started the page because I was in a sales environment and I needed leads.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's what you
Yeah.
got to do.
And I was working in a business-to-business environment, and I said, where's the best place that I can find other businesses that need to buy my products and services that I was marketing, right?
Right.
And so I started the ABQ B2B networking.
Okay.
With the idea that, I had been to several networking events and realized very quickly that not a lot of folks really understood how to network properly, right?
Yeah.
I would go to networking events, and the thing that I would hate the most is when Orlando would come up to me and talk my ear off about something that I didn't even care about or even want to hear about, but he would sit there and talk to me about why I needed to buy from him whatever it was
Absolutely.
that he was selling, right? And I'm like, gosh, that's the worst thing because it leaves you feeling a couple of ways. One is when next time I go to a networking event, I see Orlando, I'm going to avoid him like the plague, right? Never allows me the opportunity to really connect and engage with Orlando and find out really who he is, and then maybe learn about his
There you
product,
go.
right? Because I've already turned him off, right? Like, there's that dude.
Sorry, I kept going.
He's
I
gonna-
kept going.
He's going to sell me something.
I kept going. I
Right?
did not stop.
But the other thing is just that, right? Is that is that a lot of people sell on the networking floor, and that's probably the last thing that they should be doing.
Yeah. It's about relationships. You
right.
want to avoid, talking too much about, what you're doing. You're just trying to build a relationship and rapport, and eventually, organically, that'll come.
Right.
And here's the thing, and I believe it was might have been a Zig Ziglar quote, but it's fundamental to sales. If people like you, they'll listen to you, but if they trust you, they'll do
Yes.
business with you,
Right.
and that's the key. Build a relationship.
Oh yeah.
Woo!
That's it.
Build a relationship.
Build a relationship. So,
Make a friend.
yeah.
Make a
We're going to
friend.
be building relationships tonight. I may or may not. Let's see. Let me talk with Rachel. Let me see. I may not be able to be there at 4:30, but if she gets off early, maybe I can switch her positions. She can take over at the dance, and I can meet you guys there at the
Let
Q
us know.
Bar. Do a little bit of good old-fashioned networking.
Good old-fashioned networking.
If you guys want to join us tonight,
Yeah,
right? It
Q
is
Bar.
at the Q Bar.
Q Bar.
Mark Tobiasen,
Action coach.
the action
The
coach.
action coach.
So how long? He's been doing this for quite some time now, right?
Quite a while.
Quite
And
a while.
Nicole will be there, his wife.
That's right.
Oh, okay, cool.
She's really cool too.
Absolutely. So yeah, there are plenty of opportunity for you guys to get connected, right? If you have any questions about our topic today, find us at the event tonight. We can talk about it. We can tell you about our experiences, or if you just need a little help, a little push in the right direction, we'll get that to you too.
Nice.
All righty.
Nice. Thanks,
Yes.
guys.
Okay.
What's for lunch?
Man, that's a good question.
All I know is I'm not buying today. So I still got to collect
Oh.
Seasons 52, and
I know.
you're up.
Hey, man, I told you, let's go.
I know. I keep
Okay.
forgetting.
Aria,
From
what's for
football season last year.
what's for lunch today, Aria?
I don't know.
What do you think we should have?
McDonald's.
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 We are
McDonald's.
gonna have McDonald's.
You know,
for
I will
lunch.
say this: I had the oatmeal this morning from McDonald's.
Did you?
Some
Phenomenal.
idea.
Phenomenal, but good
don't-
stuff. Good stuff.
I don't know if McDonald's is still serving oatmeal. Oh, they do have the 24-hour
Breakfast.
breakfast now, right? Or the all-day
Genius.
breakfast. Yes, I love that.
Genius.
What's your favorite McDonald's meal? don't
You
have
know
to answer.
what? It's been a while.
I'll do one of two things at McDonald's if I have to eat McDonald's. Like I'll do the oatmeal in the morning, or I'll do the artisan grilled chicken sandwich.
Artisan grilled chicken sandwich.
Those are the only things I'll do at McDonald's.
You know what I like is I like Whataburger.
Oh man,
Damn
I
it.
love Whataburger.
The breakfast.
The
I
breakfast.
like
breakfast is
everything at
great.
Whataburger.
But that ends at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, we already missed the boat on that one. Honey says McDonald's. What do you guys say out there? Drop your comments down below. Let us know.
Tell us where we're gonna eat lunch at.
We're gonna take off for now, but we will be back on Thursday. The goal is 11 a.m. We will talk about the marketing piece of the business plan and why it's important for you to have a marketing plan in place for your business. And again, here's the idea: you don't have to be an expert.
Right.
You don't have to have all the dots connected to start. All you got to do is just start. Right.
Just start.
Just start.
Yeah.
All right, all right. Well, Albuquerque, New Mexico, have a great week and keep making a difference out there.